What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Honest Diecast. We're back at the customization station, and today I am going to be showcasing a super cool product from Greedy Design, and it's going to allow you to convert a normal 510 into a gasser in 30 minutes or less for most people. I'll say that based on skill level. If you're a slower worker, a little bit more meticulous worker, it might take you a little bit longer, but needless to say, this is going to make turning a 510 into a gasser, which I think is a super cool idea. It's going to make it quick and easy, and I'm going to show you how to put it all together. I'm going to preview the kit, I'm going to show you the parts that come in it, and then we're going to assemble it all together. We're going to test fit it. I'm going to go over tires, what works, what needs a little bit of work, but for the most part this kit is direct plug and play. It is super high quality resin, and I'm eager to show it to you. So let's get started. So before we get started, let me go over the tools that you're going to need to do this. The relatively small tool list, you're going to need one of those. You're going to need a drill. You're going to need a tap. If you tap, you're going to need 2 screws for the base. If you screw, get it. You're going to need some good super glue. Gel always preferred. And obviously you're going to need one of these, a Datsun 510. You don't need to use a premium because you are not going to be using the base. And last but not least, you're going to need this fabulous kit from Greedy Design. So let's open the box. I'll go over the components of the kit and we will get started assembling this thing. Let's go. So taking the cover off, and let's go through these components real quick. It's a very simple kit. Very cool kit. Very high quality printed resin. I have already assembled one of these, and I will show you the finished product at the end of this video, towards the end of this video anyways. But obviously here is your 3D printed gasser base. But yeah, very high quality, one piece. And I'm sure you guys see the holes on there. There are reasons for those, obviously reasons for those 2 holes. Those are going to be for your mounting screws. Very high quality, and it comes in black too, which is really nice. You don't even have to paint the pieces if you're planning on keeping it black, which is nice. So going over the components of the kit, this is going to be your front spacer. This piece will go down into the base on top of the front axle. I will show you how this is installed. And you are also going to get a rear spacer. This actually goes up into the interior piece, and once again sits on top of the rear axle. I will show you how that's installed as well. You got one set of highly detailed wheelie bars that are going to go in the rear. You have a front fuel tank right here, and if you look really closely, you can see a filler cap on the top of it, which is super neat. And here you have a very highly detailed blower, and this is what you're going to be drilling the hole in the hood for. Very detailed. It's got front bolts on the cover right here on the front. It's got the little flappers in there with the rods. It's got a pulley in the front. Very detailed. You have a super cool roll cage. Now this just sits on the interior, and then the glass fits right over it. You do not have to glue this down if you don't wish to, but you can if you would like. Good stuff. Very nice. I actually really like those rear plate mounts right there. Very cool, and it fits like a glove. And then you have not only 1 but 2 sets of headers. And yes, the opening is open. It's not a molded mess like factory Mattel headers. So we've got our kit unboxed. Let's get this puppy out of the blister. Let's drill it. and get it all freed up, and we will start assembling the base and test fitting stuff. Alright, we got our Datsun 510 all drilled apart. If you haven't taken one apart, there's your body, there's your window piece, there's your interior, and here's your base. Don't need that part. So we're just going to use the interior, the windows, and the body for this. Now what we need to do, what we'll get out of the way first anyways, is we need to put the blower on the hood, because we're definitely going to use that. That is super cool. So as far as where you put it, I know my big fingers are in the way right now, but as you can see, you got a little pin hanging down on the bottom of it. That's what you're going to drill your hole for. I mean, if you really want to, you can cut that off and you can just glue it to there, but I like that added bit of security right there. So we're going to definitely put it in. And basically what you want to do is you just want to look at the front post. Would you just look at it?
Would you look at that?
Put that
just
on.
Look at that.
I can't pull it out either. I'd have to drill it.
Would you just look at it?
And we're going to drill pretty much right in front of that post right there. And that should line us up just about perfect. Alrighty, there we go. We got our hole drilled. Our blower temporarily installed on there. Friggin' sick looking. And as you can see, the blower is tapered a little bit to fit the hood line like perfectly. Like absolutely perfectly. So when this is glued down, you're not even going to be able to tell that it's essentially just sitting on top of the hood. But yeah, we'll get that in there, but we got our hole. There's our hole, boom. Now let's get on to assembling the base. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and attach the front fuel tank. It's going to hang off right there like this. You can go ahead and detail all of these parts before you install them. That's what I did with the one that I fully assembled. But just for this write-up, we're going to go ahead and assemble everything, put everything together. Get it all mocked up. I can always detail it later. But yeah, let's put a dab of glue on this and then let's install the rear wheelie bar. Alrighty, rear wheelie bar, same thing. You can see the two holes right there. Got your T-post. Just go ahead and push those bad boys in there. And we'll do the same thing. We'll glue it. So just for the sake of the video, we'll go ahead and test fit these, the headers, both of them. Now, one thing that's very, very important with this kit is that you do not want to glue these in place without figuring out your wheel setup first. You want to put your front axle in there and then put the header on both sides. If you choose to detail them or want to color them a different color, the reason being is that you're not going to be able to get the front tires in and out once these headers are glued in here. So This is just a little test fit purpose. We'll get our wheel situation figured out with this, and then we'll go ahead and glue those in there. But yeah, as you can see, they just pop right in, pop right out. The tolerances are so good on this that they don't even fall out by themselves, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll take these back out and let's go over wheel and tire setup for this. Alrighty, so we got most of our base together. We got the wheelie bars and the front fuel tank on. Of course, headers are off. It is time to decide on what wheels we want to use for this, and I have multiple examples over here. Just some test fitters, a couple of options. I've actually already picked out what wheels I want to use for this particular Gasser 510. I'll show you the combination that I ended up using for the 510 that I actually ended up building at the end of the video. So this is where you actually may need to do some significant modification depending on what wheels you want to use, and I'll show you which ones those are. Those are going to be the taller tire drag slicks. And I will show you what part you need to file out or sand out if you choose to use those. But let's go over a couple examples real quick. We'll fit these first. We'll just go with a smaller tire in the front and a bigger tire in the back, some street tires, and we'll see how this looks. Alrighty, not too shabby. Now let's try the little trikes in the front with this style right here, if it's going to focus. There we go. I'll try these. Let's see what these look like. So not bad. This actually looks pretty good, but one thing that you're definitely going to have to do if you want to do these trikes, at least in my opinion, is you're going to have to space them out. It looks like they hit the base a little bit. So yeah, you'll want to space those trikes out. Probably look a lot better anyways. You can use the good old bead method that I've shown on video before to space these out. Not a big deal at all. Probably space them out to about right there. We'll do this side since this is the side the back tire is on. There we go, probably about out to there. Not too bad. So as you can see, you got quite a bit of options. So let's take this off, take this apart, and I will show you what you're going to need to do a little bit of significant modifying for if you want to fit a specific tire on here. So you want to use, if you want to use a tall drag tire, you want to use some big old beefy boys like that, some Hoosiers, the big Hoosiers anyway. They have a short and a tall Hoosier. These ones are kind of like the little bit shorter Hoosiers. You can find this on the Boulevard Camaro, drag Camaro. It's very tight, so it's probably not going to sit like that tall, but it probably about right there with the base. You're going to want to sand that lower half of the rear fender. You're going to want to sand those out just a little bit just to fit that. You're not going to need to touch the tops because it's not going to be very low on this Gasser base. But you're definitely going to want to sand it just a little bit for these ones. These are the shorter drag tires. And if you want to use these big old fat boys, as you can see, you're going to need to, that's about how much I can go without just barely touching. So yeah, you're definitely going to need to sand quite a bit if you want to squeeze these big old fat boys on here. Look at that. I can hold it in there. Yeah, definitely going to need some modification if you want. And that's not a fault of the kit, that's a fault of the body design, because obviously it wasn't designed to be a Gasser. But yeah, that's why the rear fenders on all the Gasser cars, the Bel Air, the Nova Wagon, they have wider fenders so that they can really fit those in there. But just a little bit of modification. I'll show you the setup that I decided to go with on my personal 510 build that I'll showcase at the end of this video, and then I'll show you the ones that I actually picked out for this one, which is going to be the next build I do. So yeah, let's show those real quick. Alrighty, so this is the tire setup that I chose for my personal one that I will showcase at the end of the video. These are 8mm, the 8mm 5 spokes off of the Boulevard Nissan Laurel. And these wheels you can find on plenty plenty of retro entertainment cars, you know, food trucks, you know, premium food trucks, things of that nature. It's a short drag tire. I'm liking the way that the shorter drag tires look better on this casting. I think it's not overboard. It's definitely beefier in the back, but you guys can be the judge for yourself. But another good alternative are these wheels that I'm going to put on next, and this is what I chose for this particular 510. Whatever I decide to strip it down to and finish, we're going to try monoblocks. We're going to try the stretched tire setup in the front, and we're going to try some race tires in the back. So let's see what that looks like. Alright, so pretty killer looking tire setup we got here. So let's take this opportunity to show you the full assembly process once you've gotten this far. Once you've glued your wheelie bars and your front fuel tank in, you got your wheels in, you got your axles made, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and install these headers real quick. And now we're going to take the front spacer, that's this one, kind of looks like a little vacuum attachment. This is the bigger one. We're going to slide that down in the grooves right here for the axles. It's going to sit right on top of there. You can choose to glue it in there if you want. My personal preference is to just let it sit in there. It should sit in there nice and flush like so. And as mentioned, your rear spacer is going to go in the interior piece on the back wheels, like so. The first one I did kind of fit in there pretty snug. I didn't have to glue it. This one was a little bit looser, so I decided to glue that one in. So as you can see, that's going to sit there, and what that's going to do is that's going to keep that axle down there low, like so. Next is going to come your roll cage, and this right here simply sits right there, right on top, just like so. The mounting plates on the back of the roll bar will sit nice and flush along the back bench there. And again, you can choose to glue this in here, or you can let it sit in there. We'll let that one sit in there. Window piece sits right on top like so, nice and flush, just like factory. And lastly, your body is going to sit right on top. Slide it right in there. Make sure that your headers are pushed in all the way, because it's a pretty tight fit right here between the base and the body itself. So make sure that those are all the way in before you decide to glue those into place, and there you go. Now we can strip this car, do whatever color we want to do, and we can put our blower on top of there, and that will be a permanent part of the body, and there you go. Gasser 510. Easy peasy. Looks pretty darn sick, if you ask me. So yes, that is our test vehicle right there. And as mentioned, I did finish one and make one. So let's grab the turntable, set up the booth, and I will show you the Gasser 510 that I made.
V.I.P.N.
So there you go, guys. The finished product. Hopefully you enjoyed my golf themed Datsun 510 using the Greedy Design 510 gasser base. I hope you found this write-up, this product review, and this tutorial useful. If you did, please smash the like button if you find this content very useful and informative. And make sure to head over to Greedy Design, check out the 3D printed Datsun 510 gasser kit. I think it's an awesome twist on a 510. For those looking to do something a little different, I think this kit is for you. And also stay tuned for more releases from Greedy Design. I know that he is working on a Maxima drift car gasser base kit as well, and he is definitely open up for suggestions. So if you have any advice on some things that you would like to see Greedy Designs release, make sure to drop them in the comments below. And again, make sure to head over to Greedy Design on Facebook, like the page, follow them, and stay tuned for new designs. That's going to be it for this video. Make sure to stay tuned for more customization videos, diecast discussion, and the occasional hunting video when inventory and drops permit. Happy hunting, happy collecting, stay safe, and remember, it's about the cars, not the money. We'll see you next time.